I'm Vincent Hale, 38, last in line in a family that believes in legacy more than love. My father, Jeremiah Hale, was a man who measured respect in court victories and real estate portfolios. My brother, Charles, inherited the firm. I inherited the ghost of an empire. Allegra married me for the name, kept me for convenience. I was the quiet one. The forgettable one. The one who signed without asking. The day of the funeral, Charleston was gray and bloated with humidity. Even the Spanish moss looked wilted. The priest mumbled about legacy, loyalty, love. I stood next to my mother in a black suit that didn't fit. Across the lawn of tombstones, Allegra moved like a razor in satin. Sharp. Controlled. Dangerous in stillness. When the coffin lowered into the ground, she stepped toward me. High heels sinking into the mud like daggers. "Sign this," she whispered, handing me an envelope with a monogrammed seal. I looked down. Divorce papers. Pre-filled. Dated. Stamped. "It's done. You're just making it official." I didn't speak. My hands moved before my brain could argue. I signed. Like always. Like they expected. She turned before I could ask anything. Cut scene. Reception. Crystal glasses. Inheritance whispers. My name not mentioned once. That night, in the guest room of my childhood home, I couldn't sleep. The walls felt like they were listening. The portraits of dead Hales seemed to lean in. I opened my father's briefcase, still locked. The combination hadn't changed, my birth date. Inside, documents were neatly labeled. Contracts. Stock certificates. But wedged between two folders, I found something else. A USB drive. No label. Just plain black. I slid it into my laptop. One file. Titled, "See This." A 23-second video. No audio. Allegra in a conference room. Smiling. Passing papers to a man I couldn't see clearly. But the timestamp, 2 weeks before the funeral. 2 weeks. I pressed replay. Again. Again. She laughed. Tapped her pen against the table. The man nodded. Then the video glitched. Cut to black. My inbox pinged. New message. From accounts@unforgettable.com. Subject, confirmation, asset realignment. Prior authorization, the transfer of liquid assets under the Hale Trust to the designated spousal recipient will proceed on the date of finalization. My fingers froze. I hadn't authorized anything. I hadn't even seen the trust. Another email. Same sender. Attached, a copy of the new will. Dated 3 weeks before my father died. Signed. Notarized. Except my father never signed in blue ink. And he never used the word respectfully in any document. Ever. A chill sliced through my chest. Someone had forged his signature. Or worse, gotten him to sign something he didn't understand. And that spousal recipient? Allegra. The knock came at 12:43 a.m. I opened the door. Bellamy Grant stood there, soaked in rain, trench coat unzipped. Former detective. Tech forensics now. My only friend left from college. The one who owed me 2 favors and always kept score. He held up his phone. "You're being wiped, Vince." Quietly. Legally. Efficiently. This isn't a divorce. It's an erasure. In the distance, thunder cracked. And for the first time in days, I stopped shaking. She didn't just want to leave me. She wanted to erase me. The elevator to Lawson and Drake creaked like it hadn't moved in a decade. My father always said, "You want to see a man's legacy? Look at the firm he leaves behind." I was about to find out just how gutted his legacy had become. Reception looked new. Too new. Mahogany walls, abstract art, scent of leather polish. The secretary didn't ask my name. She stood before I even spoke. They're expecting you, Mr. Hale. They? A partner named Nolan Grant met me at the glass doors. Tailored gray suit, bald scalp shining under fluorescence, handshake cold and measured. The kind of man who enjoyed loopholes more than justice. We appreciate your discretion, he said, guiding me down a hall that smelled like old lawsuits and bleach. I want to see my father's final will. It's already been processed through our secure server. Allegra's team confirmed receipt. But of course. He handed me a printed copy. Heavy linen paper. Legalese as thick as tar. I scanned fast. The key clause hit like a punch to the chest. All active assets held in the Hale family trust shall be distributed in full to spouse of record upon proof of death, pending no pre-existing contestations. I looked up. My father never used language like this. Nolan raised an eyebrow. It was reviewed by your father's estate lawyer. Genevieve confirmed it. My mother? His silence wasn't denial. It was worse, compliance. I flipped to the signature page. Blue ink. Jeremiah Hale. Stamped by Notary L.K. Stevens, Charleston County. But Jeremiah never signed in blue. He was obsessive. Only used black. Uniball Vision Elite. I bought them for him every year. I shoved the paper back at him. This is a fake. Nolan didn't flinch. We followed the filing protocol, Mr. Hale. Allegra provided the necessary verifications. If you believe otherwise, you're free to contest in probate court. Probate takes months. And yet, he smiled, truth survives time. If it's on your side. Cut. Back in Bellamy's car, rain hitting the windshield like nails. She forged it, I said. She had help. Bellamy didn't speak. He was scanning the document I'd grabbed. His laptop beeped. What? He turned the screen. Metadata says this PDF was created using an e-signature software, DocoLegal. Timestamp 3 weeks before your father died. But the IP address? Pause. Not from Charleston. This file was generated in Bermuda. The word hung in the air like gunpowder. I clenched my jaw. So it was a setup. More than that. It was premeditated asset reallocation. Say theft. He shrugged. Only if you catch it early enough. The car went quiet again. Outside, a figure walked past the parked vehicle. Hooded. Slow. Head turned toward us, but not stopping. Just watching. Bellamy flicked off the interior light. I whispered, "Are we being followed?" He shook his head. But his hand moved toward the glove box. Inside, a Glock 43. Scene shift. The house was too quiet when I got back. Even the floorboards refused to creak. I went to my father's office. Turned on the banker's lamp. The green glass glowed like an interrogation light. His old books still lined the shelves, American Legal Systems, 1974 edition, frayed spine. I pulled it down. A thud. Something slid out from behind. A second USB drive. No label. No case. I stared at it for a full minute. Plugged it in. Single file, voicenote_12a_final.wave. Click. Static. Then. If anything happens to me, it won't be natural. It'll look clean, but it won't be. My father's voice. Tired. Distant. Like he knew. I've kept everything. Safe deposit box. Not here. Not in Charleston. If you're hearing this, don't trust the will. Cut. My heart felt like it dropped straight through my spine. Phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text, you're not as invisible as you think. Stop digging. I dropped the phone. Something moved in the hallway. A shadow, too still. I grabbed the fire poker from beside the cold hearth. Opened the door. No one. But on the floor a receipt. Allegra's signature. From 3 days ago. A wire transfer to Honeymoon Holdings LLC. $2 million. Destination, Cayman Islands. My father didn't die. He was silenced. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. My father's voice echoed in loops, if anything happens to me. Rain hammered the windows. The receipt from Allegra's wire transfer sat on the desk like a ticking bomb. Honeymoon Holdings LLC. Cayman Islands. $2 million. Cut to Bellamy's apartment. Top floor. No elevator. The kind of place where paranoia paid rent. He dragged a USB scanner across the receipt. This ain't just shady, man. It's surgical. What does that mean? It means this isn't a panic move. It's phase 3 of a damn blueprint. He pulled up banking metadata. Offshore encryption. Digital signatures. Multi-level authorization. Allegra didn't act alone. No way. Someone's ghostwriting this scheme, Bellamy muttered. Someone smarter than she is. Who? No answer. Cut scene. Next day. Vincent Hale Financial Office, downtown Charleston. I walked in like I owned the building. I didn't. Not anymore. Allegra had replaced my name on the directory board. Subtle. But it was there. I scanned the reception. New faces. Too many whispers. One assistant wouldn't meet my eyes. Third floor. Legal department. The door to Allegra's office was unlocked. A mistake. Or bait. I pushed inside. Her scent lingered. That cinnamon oak perfume she wore during trial seasons. On the desk, 2 monitors glowing. Her calendar was open. Multiple meetings with someone named RH. Click. Documents. Power of attorney files. My name was nowhere. But Rowan Hardley's was. I froze. Hardley. That name. Back in law school, Dad used to mutter about a Rowan. Blood doesn't make you family, he once told me, it just gives you motive. Click. Folder marked private. Password required. I tried the obvious. Hale. Vincent. No love lost. Denied. Bellamy would have cracked it. I wasn't Bellamy. I backed away. My phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. You shouldn't be here. I turned. Allegra stood in the doorway. Black blazer. Red lipstick. The color of murder dressed in etiquette. You're in my space, she said. I didn't blink. Rowan Hardley. Her smile didn't even twitch. You're grasping. I found the wire. I know the wool was doctored. My father was silenced. And you helped pull the trigger. She stepped closer. You don't know anything. I know enough. She leaned in. Voice like smoke. You were never part of this empire, Vincent. You were a loose end your father never trimmed. I'm just finishing the job. You think you'll get away with this? She laughed. I already have. I stepped past her, heart racing. At the door, I said, Honeymoon Holdings won't save you. That account's traceable. She paused. Just enough. The smallest crack. And I saw it. Fear. Cut to Bellamy's car. Rain again. Always rain. He stared at the scanned calendar invite. RH is real, he said. And he's here. You sure? Bellamy nodded. I tracked a delivery. 3 days ago. Wine shipment. Signed, R.H. Hartley. To a private address on Sable Row. I stared through the windshield. That's the old Hale townhouse, I whispered. The one we abandoned after Mom's breakdown. The one sealed. Or so we thought. Bellamy started the engine. People like her don't fall in love, he said. They fall into power. Cut scene. Sable Row. Midnight. Street empty. Gaslight flickering. The kind of silence that makes your blood loud. We slipped around the back. Broken lock. Fresh footprints in the mud. Inside, the house smelled like rot and cologne. 3rd floor. Master bedroom. Laptop open on the bed. On screen, a security feed of my father's gravesite. Live. Camera panned. Zoomed. Someone was watching his grave. And by extension, me. Printer hummed behind us. A page slid out. I picked it up. Grant of access, Vincent Hale. Effective control transfer to Rowan Hartley, trustee. Bellamy paled. This was signed yesterday. By me. Forged. It wasn't just betrayal. It was a coordinated heist, with my name as the cover. We left the house without a word. Bellamy drove like the wheel owed him answers. Sable Row blurred behind us. That signature transfer, he said, eyes locked ahead. Legally airtight. But the timestamp puts it at 3:04 a.m. You were logged in at a hotel check-in kiosk in Savannah. Alibi? More like digital proof you didn't do it. But someone used your credentials. Exact sequence. That's not a guess. That's an inside job. I stared out the window. Silence in Charleston wasn't peaceful, it was surgical. The kind of silence you only hear after someone cuts the mic and starts recording. Whoever's behind this, I said, they're not trying to destroy me. Bellamy looked over. No? They're trying to replace me. Cut scene. We met Elias Hanford, my father's oldest partner, at a shuttered cigar bar off King Street. No lights. One table. 2 bourbons. 1 loaded gun under the table. You were poking the wrong beehive, Elias said, lighting a match with the same hand that filed 10,000 motions in 30 years. I found the will, I said. The forged one. Allegra didn't do it alone. She has a handler. Who? Rowan Hartley. The match froze midair. Elias's jaw twitched. I thought he was dead, he said. No, I said. Just forgotten. Elias leaned in. Voice like rust and regret. Jeremiah had a son. Before your mother. Rowan's mother was. Complicated. Smart. Dangerous. He kept it quiet. Paid her to stay gone. When she died, Rowan came knocking. But your father shut the door. So now he's kicking it open. He's not here for inheritance, Vincent. He's here for vengeance. I felt the bourbon burn through my chest. Where would he go? Elias didn't blink. Where no one checks the books. Where identity doesn't matter. Offshore. Bellamy looked up. Cayman Islands? No, Elias said. Worse. Mobile. Alabama? Worse than that. It's where deals go to disappear. Cut. Midnight flight. Charleston to Mobile. No bags. No delay. Bellamy hacked the travel manifest to keep our names off radar. The plane shook like it had a grudge. People like Rowan don't want justice, Bellamy said. They want a stage. And blood, I added. He handed me a burner phone. 1 call. To the feds. You say the word, we flip the table. Not yet. You think you'll outsmart him? No. I turn to the window. I'm betting he'll outsmart himself. Cut scene. Mobile. Docks. 3:47 a.m. Thick fog. Sodium streetlights barely cutting through. We found the warehouse. Same name on the wine delivery form, Hartley Trade Imports. Inside smelled like vinegar and sweat. A guard stood by the loading bay. I walked straight up. Rowan expecting me. He blinked. Name? Vincent Hale. He stepped aside. That was the first confirmation. Rowan had been waiting. Cut scene. Inside. Dim lighting. Dust in the air like secrets. And then, him. Rowan Hartley. Same bone structure as my father. But twisted. Like nature forgot to smooth the anger out. He smiled without warmth. Little brother, he said. I didn't answer. He poured a glass of wine. Swirled it. I never wanted your inheritance. I wanted your face when it disappeared. What did he do to you? I asked. Rowan's hand tightened around the stem. He denied my mother a name. He denied me breath. He walked closer. The overhead lights flickered. You were born a legacy. I was born a liability. You're doing all this for revenge? No, he said. I'm doing this to end a dynasty built on silence. He pulled out a phone. Pressed a button. A video feed lit the wall. My mother. Tied to a chair. Pale. Afraid. This is your final choice, Vincent, he said. Walk away. Disappear. And she lives. My mouth went dry. And if I don't? He smiled wider. She'll be a memory. Just like your name. This isn't revenge. It's extermination. I didn't flinch. Rowan wanted fear. I gave him calculation. Let her go, I said. He sipped his wine like it was communion. I'm offering you a chance, Vincent. Walk away. Your father never did. Maybe you'll be smarter. You're not your father, I said. He smiled. Neither are you. Cut scene. Back outside, Bellamy waited in the alley. I slid into the passenger seat, jaw locked. He didn't ask. He already knew. He's got her? Bellamy said. I nodded. And leverage. We need a counterstrike. He tossed a burner into my lap. I just got off with someone who owes me federal-level favors. If we can prove financial coercion and unlawful manipulation of trust assets, this becomes a federal case. I scrolled through encrypted emails. Then paused. An address. Tucked in a buried draft. Subject, Phase Omega, Final Transfer. Location, Lawson and Drake. Time, 6 a.m. tomorrow. Rowan's moving the money. Cut scene. 3:12 a.m. Charleston. Back in the old Hale estate. 3rd floor. My father's safe room. Combination unchanged, 1914. Inside, beneath a stack of handwritten deposit slips, something glimmered. A key. Not a house key. Engraved, G731/LND/vault. Lawson and Drake's private document vault. Cut. 4:47 a.m. We parked 2 blocks from the firm. Fog hung low. Bellamy carried a duffel. I carried the key. Remind me again why we're not calling this in. Because I want the truth. Not a headline. Right. Truth. That slippery bastard. We broken through the maintenance door. Bellamy looped the security feed. 3 minutes. We reached the vault. I turned the key. The door clicked open with a hiss. Inside, metal drawers. Each labeled by initials. HRH. I pulled the drawer. Inside, thick folders, signed documents, flash drives. A passport. Rowan Hartley. Issued under a diplomatic clearance. Bellamy whistled. This guy's more than a grudge. He's networked. I found the motherlode. A transfer agreement. Signed by Allegra. Transfer of 97% of Hale Family Trust assets to Hartley Global Initiatives, a shadow corp registered out of Zurich. Date, 2 days after my father's funeral. Bellamy checked timestamps. These docs were notarized in the Caymans. But the IP trail shows they were uploaded from this building. He paused. His voice dropped. By someone using your mother's credentials. I froze. No. Bellamy clicked open the login metadata. It's her user ID. G.Hale_C Trust. Twist hit like shrapnel. Rowan's got her logins, I said. He didn't just take her. He's using her. Framing her. Cut scene. 5:28 a.m. outside the vault. Red lights flared. Silent alarm tripped. Bellamy yanked me down behind a filing cabinet. Footsteps. 2 men. Suits. No uniforms. Silencers in hand. Private security, or worse. Bellamy mouthed, Plan B? I nodded. He tapped his phone. Outside, tires screeched. Backup had arrived. FBI. Real agents. Guns drawn. Federal agents, someone shouted. Weapons down. The suits hesitated. Then bolted. Bellamy stood, hands raised. We're clean. Check the vault. One agent stormed past. Another walked up, squinting. Vincent Hale? Yeah. Your call went to D.C. Someone pulled strings. I nodded. My hands trembled. One truth unlocked another. Cut scene. 10:12 a.m. Charleston Safe House. My mother sat across from me. Pale. Silent. She clutched tea with both hands. Still shaking. I never gave him my login, she whispered. I know. He made me think you were gone. That you'd left. He said Allegra confirmed it. I swallowed. He forged everything. She nodded. He knew things no one should have known. Like what? She looked at me, voice breaking. He said your father had a second son. I stared at her. He did. She blinked. Then. He's telling the truth? I stood. Walked to the window. You're not wrong for trusting people, Mom. You're wrong for trusting the ones who smile too easily. Outside, the street was quiet. But quiet never meant safe. Pull the trigger, Allegra. Let's end this family together. The gala sparkled like nothing was wrong. Crystal chandeliers. Champagne towers. Marble floors polished to blind you. Everyone who mattered was there. Everyone who'd buried a secret under a designer suit. Allegra stood center stage. Dressed in silver. The widow of a legacy. The architect of its ruin. Her voice through the microphone was silk-wrapped poison. Tonight, we honor vision, rebirth, and the legacy my late father-in-law, Henry Hale, left behind. Applause. Flashbulbs. I watched from the mezzanine balcony, Bellamy by my side, earpiece crackling. Rowan wasn't on stage. He never liked the spotlight, he liked pulling wires in the dark. But tonight, the spotlight would find him. 6:43 p.m. One of Bellamy's agents moved through the crowd. A subtle nod. Confirmed. Another agent handed the lead FBI investigator a sealed folder. Inside, bank transfer receipts, identity fraud documentation, sealed testimony from the Cayman notary, video footage from Lawson and Drake's surveillance archives. Evidence. Not motive. That came next. I stepped into the light. Cut scene. Gasps rippled through the ballroom. Cameras turned. Even Allegra froze for a moment, silver smile cracking. I took the mic. Some of you may remember me, I said, calm. Some of you pretended not to. Scattered murmurs. Tonight, I'd like to offer a toast, not to vision, but to truth. And to the people who think it can be rewritten. Allegra moved toward me. Too late. A screen behind me flickered on. Rowan's voice. From a secure wire. We can burn Hale's name to the ground. You'll get the kids. The press. The trust. All I need is your signature and access. Cut. Allegra's face turned chalk. Cameras captured it all. This is a betrayal, she hissed. You rigged this. No, I said. I documented it. She lunged for the mic. Security intervened. So did the FBI. Allegra was escorted off stage. Her designer heels caught in the carpet. Poetic. Cut scene. Rowan ran. He made it to the service stairwell. Bellamy was faster. 3 floors down, he caught him mid-flight. Gun drawn. Don't. Rowan smirked. What? No grand speech? You're not worth a breath. He cuffed him. By the time I got downstairs, Rowan was being shoved into the back of a federal SUV. Bellamy nodded once. Just one left. Cut scene. My children sat in the Hale study. The same one I used to sneak into as a boy, trying to read law books I couldn't pronounce. They looked scared. Betrayed. Not by me, but by the mother they didn't recognize anymore. I crouched. Met their eyes. She didn't love you less, I said. She just loved something else more. Money, my daughter asked. No, I said. Power. And when people chase power, they forget who they are. They didn't answer. But they didn't cry either. Cut scene. Later. Back at the house. I opened the vault one last time. Inside, letters my father had written. To me. To my brother. To no one. One caught my eye. Scrawled in sharp pen, for when they come for you. Inside, a single line. Don't fight for the family name. Fight for who you are without it. I lit the fireplace. Burned every forged agreement. Every twisted page of what they tried to build. Not out of revenge. Out of clarity. Some legacies aren't worth saving. Some names should collapse, so something better can grow. Cut. Charleston. 6 months later. New firm. New name. Hale retired. I walked to court alone. No press. No ceremony. Just me. And that's enough. A voice rings in my head. They tried to erase you. You made yourself permanent. I step into the courthouse. And behind me, no shadows. Just light.